What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Throttle YouTube channel. My name is Quinn and I'm here with Mickey. We saw your comments. We saw that you guys love the employee car review videos. This is episode 2 of reviewing our employees' cars here at Throttle, bringing the personal projects into the shop, what people daily drive, and just kind of coming through, taking a look and having fun.
I'm honored to have my second car on here, which is pretty cool.
That's right. You were in the first one too.
Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna run out of cars eventually.
At some point, yes.
So we are starting off with Mickey's 1993 Nissan Skyline GTR. So tell me a little bit about this beauty.
Yeah, so this is a car that I've basically wanted since they came out. I was in high school when these cars came out, so this was kind of like, you know, when you get to high school, you're kind of like really paying attention to what's going on in the world of cars and automotive if you're a car guy. This was a supercar to me back then. Obviously, I couldn't afford one, nor were they available in the United States, so I knew I always wanted one, and once I was able to afford one and could find one that could be imported, I went ahead and did so. So this is far from a perfect example, but it's perfect for me.
Cool, yeah.
So let's have a quick walk around. So before I started modifying this thing, I kind of already had a clear vision of what I wanted it to be. I'm a huge fan of 90s Group A racing, and as Quinn alluded to, that's sort of, we're way different in age, but for whatever reason, that 90s era JDM stuff was really strong on the internet. So I was able to watch a lot of races on YouTube and stuff like that. I also see pictures in the old magazines I used to get. So when I started styling this car, I wanted that like 90s Group A type feel. And that's why we went with 17-inch wheels. I really think 17s are the ideal wheel size for the R32. I really wanted a meaty tire for that race car looks. These are a 40 series sidewall tire from Falcon Tire, RT660s. So they have that aggressive tread compound and look. So when you see the meat sticking out, it's like super aggressive cuts in the tire sidewall and stuff, or the tire tread compound is really aggressive and mean looking. The Greddy package, we'll get into a little bit more about that, but like I obviously love the Greddy products, and they make a lot of great stuff for the RB26 to this day. So you'll see a lot of Greddy stuff sprinkled throughout this build.
Truss exhaust looks sick.
Yeah, so as you guys know, I have a long history with the boys over at Greddy here in the United States. This is their PETR exhaust, which is actually made by Truss, which is their parent company in Japan. And this is a nod to the 90s era. So I had to have it. You know, yeah. I love the 90s era, and the rolled tip is really cool, and that's a nod to that era. So I think this was the perfect exhaust for this car. It sounds amazing. You helped me put it on, so you heard how it really perked the car up.
It really ties in the back of the car too.
Yeah, and the sound. Yeah. Now you're getting the RB26 sounds that
so
I wanted initially,
good.
But the exhaust that was on this car was an HKS legalized exhaust, which I never saw one before, but it existed. So basically it's just a notch above factory.
Yeah.
And it looks kind of factory. So this is a big departure from the factory look, but the sound you get from it is amazing.
Yeah,
it just brings out all the RB26 sounds. We also, on the back end, we did add, modernize it a little bit just by adding some LED taillights. And it's a fairly common upgrade for these cars. They normally have just a regular bulb in there. And
it looks OE. It doesn't look like it's modified.
Yeah,
you know,
I think it does, because the cool thing about the R32 is that it uses these taillight covers. So you literally take these off the factory taillights, pop the new LED inners in, and bolt them back on. So it's a very easy swap. So I briefly mentioned that we went with 17s, and that was because the 90s era. So as you can see here, we got a lot of meat. These Falcon RT660s were the perfect tire for the look I was after.
It looks proper. I'm a big fan of it.
Me too. I absolutely love the way it turned out. And what's cool is I had this up at Willow Springs already, and it doesn't rub at all.
Sick.
So it's super aggressive. A little bit softer on the wheel offset. I think they're a plus 15 on a 9.5. Test fitting them on the car without tires, I was kind of nervous because I knew I was going to go with a really big sidewall.
Meat tire, yeah.
And that's why this thing isn't slammed on its guts, because I don't want it to rub. I want to be able to take this thing into turns and just manhandle it and mash the throttle.
It looks very Group A, which is really cool. So I actually passed him on the way to work today. Just seeing that thing cruising, it looks so mean from behind. It's so good.
But one of the cool things we haven't mentioned was this car actually came with Öhlins DFVs on it, which if you guys are GTR fans, you know that that's kind of the holy grail suspension for these cars. I do like it. It is all the way at its lowest setting in the front. So the car cannot go any lower in the front unless we start removing parts, and I don't want to do that. So for now, it's going to stay this way. I think it looks fine. We're going to add some aero. It's going to give it a more visually low effect. I'm going to keep refining that sort of Group A style look.
The wheel stickers are
Oh yeah, we should touch on that.
Yeah,
so the wheel stickers are actually, these are the stickers that actually would come on the wheel normally but they would be red and black. And so this car being mine, I wanted to add some fluoro yellow into the mix. So I replaced the black with fluoro and had the boys over at Modern Image print these up for me. And so it's basically a recreation of the factory decal that goes on these 17-inch Rega Masters. So I'm really happy with those. I think it's very unique, and definitely, you know, you see the car, you know it's mine. Yeah. That's the goal. So I gotta have that fluoro yellow in there a little bit.
All right, so let's move on to the interior, and I want to start with those mirrors, because you snuck those up on me. I did not.
Yes.
Not there for that.
So these were actually Yahoo Auctions find. Probably paid a little too much for them, but they were already 326 Nissan white, which is a bonus. I didn't have to send them out to get them painted. And so I found these, and I literally had them in 4 days from Japan. They look sick.
They do look
and
really
I actually
good.
have, if you go to my Instagram, I actually have a before and after photo of them.
Oh, okay.
And so it's interesting to see how much smaller these are than the factory mirror. And what I like about it is this hole right here. I didn't realize this, but this hole actually directs air at the driver, which is pretty neat. You have the window down, you're getting fresh air, like because of that hole, which you didn't get before. So let's take a look inside.
Let's get in.
The interior is pretty basic. As far as the GTR goes, all of these chairs are basically blue at this point. If you find a pair that's actually original color, which is gray, they're about 6 to 8 grand, or even 5 grand, like to buy. So this color of blue that they look is because the gray has faded. You'll notice I have the Greddy steering wheel. This is a limited edition steering wheel. I also have the Greddy shift boot and e-brake boot, which is really cool. It has their branding on it, which is kind of neat. It goes along with the livery on the car. I did add a Pioneer 9.5-inch screen, and I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking I punch that thing every time I shift, but it's actually quite a bit further away from the screen than you might think it actually is, and your hand does not hit it. One of the things I do in all my cars is modernize the interior to a point where it's more like a modern car. I don't have to take my phone out of my pocket. I can make phone calls. I've got a microphone in here. It's got a reverse camera. And all my maps and everything are done right there, which is really cool. And it makes this thing feel more like a modern car, which I love. So to top out the interior, we have the Imperial floor mats, which I think are really cool. Has like a really 90s pattern on it. Nismo knob, basic stuff. All right, let's head up to the front and take a look. There's just a couple items up here. Up front, we've left it pretty simple. It came with a fiberglass front grille, which I don't like. It is sagging a bit in the center, so I did buy a new center grille, which will get painted and installed when the car gets painted. I have a factory front lip, which is also painted. It's seen better days, and this is not a V-spec, so it does have the mesh inside. We're gonna be changing that because Quinn and I are gonna be doing some work on this car pretty soon. I did upgrade to clear corner light. These are normally orange, and if you go online and look, pretty much every car you see they're orange. Being this is a white car, I really like the white lens. So it does have an orange bulb inside, so when those light up when you turn, it's orange instead of having a clear bulb with an orange lens. And last but not least, we did add some canards. These aren't for everybody. I like them. I think it brings that Group A feel to the front of the car and gives it a little bit more purpose. They are hard mounted and they are actually functioning and doing something, so it's pretty cool. So yeah, that's my 1993 Nissan Skyline GTR.
All right.
Let's move on to the next one.
Next car.
I'm Victor. I'm one of the editors and filmers here at Throtl. This is my 1986 BMW E30. If you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you may know this car. So the guys here from Throtl actually rebuilt this car for me on the channel. And
this is a year ago now?
Maybe 6 months.
Not quite a year.
Maybe.
Seems like it's been sitting for a while.
It's been sitting for a while, yes.
He drives it. You drive it, right?
Yeah, I've been driving it. I've been loving it. So I bought this car pretty cheap, and it wasn't running very well. And then you guys decided to help me out. Quinn did a great job restoring the car, and it drives like a daily driver now.
So, for those of you that didn't see that episode, definitely click the link in the description down below because we'll send you over to where we transformed this car in basically a week's time.
It was about a week, yeah.
This is basically the result of it. I think Victor's done a few things here and there since we gave it back to him, but let's just walk around and kind of give the highlights and things that maybe we like the most.
It was an epic build. The transformation is ridiculous on this car. We did a lot of things to it, from the body color to the suspension, the wheels and tires. We did a whole bunch of maintenance in the engine, so fixed some coolant leaks.
You did a whole lot of maintenance in the engine. I didn't.
Fair enough. So we pretty much transformed this thing from an old E30 that was not the best to something that is presentable and you can drive and enjoy.
Zero to hero, baby.
Yeah, pretty much. So this isn't Victor's daily, but he does drive it and he enjoys it, which is good because this car was sitting outside for
A long time.
A long time.
A year or more, yeah. It never got used.
Yeah, now he's using it.
Now he
He's
can
having fun
actually
with
take
the
it to
car, which is
meets,
nice.
which we just saw it at the Advanced Auto Parts meet, which was good.
Yeah, and it's a throttle car now, which is really cool.
All right, well, obviously the exterior has been completely redone. We added a wing, I know that. We went with a, well, Victor picked the red color, and the Ghost Wraps boys threw that on.
Red is such a classic color for an E30. These cars are just timeless in style.
And this one has like a cool gray flake in it.
Yeah, they're one of the better classic BMWs, and I just absolutely love every line on this car. It took me a little while when I first got into BMWs to really like acclimate with the E30 because they are funky looking, but once you get bit by the E30 bug, it's hard not to love them.
Some of the things we did to make it more desirable was we added the iconic mesh wheels,
Style 5s.
cleaned up the interior quite a bit, fixed his cracked dash, added some Sparco leather QRTRs, which are badass. Were these the carbon back ones or fiberglass? These are actually fiberglass back.
Fiberglass back, yeah.
Sparco steering wheel. I know you put a hub in there, quick release, so for security's sake, you can pull the wheel out.
Cleaned up the dash, got the gauge cluster working, because that didn't work at all.
It did not.
We refitted.
Forgot about that.
So that was a fun one.
We added the wing, some Euro tail, not Euro tails, what do they call these? Just tinted tails?
Tinted, yeah, so tinted like kind of, well, it's Euro style because it doesn't have the orange indicator.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Just like clean and tinted. And this is actually an M3 style wing, so kind of E30 M3-ish, which is really cool.
My favorite part of this build is the original license plate.
Yeah.
So we don't have too many of those blue and yellows running around anymore. And that's what came on these cars, which is pretty cool.
So it's got BC coilovers, and I think we pretty much nailed it on the stance. I don't know if Vic changed the ride height at all since he got the car.
She's pretty dumped.
Yeah, E30.
It's almost tucking wheel.
You know, BMWs like to tuck. So I think the tuck look is the way to go, especially with these older chassis cars. It just looks really cool.
What I like about this car is actually it's very Ricky style. That's the best way to put it. Ricky Styles.
In progress.
Yeah, it's not perfect by any means, and I think that's what makes it cooler. Is that it's like it has the buzzword is patina, right? I guess it has its own flaws that make it really cool, and that's what makes me like it.
Yeah.
And which is weird because I like perfection usually, and that's what I've always said about Ricky's builds is they always appeal to me. I could never own one because it would drive me up a wall, but I respect it, and I think it's cool that he's able to just leave well enough alone and enjoy it for the way it is.
Yeah.
I wish I had a little bit more of that wired into me.
Carefree.
Personally. And I think Victor actually embodies that same spirit, and that's why this car is so cool, because we're allowed to put our finishing touch on a car that has a lot of patina and story.
This thing's got style, man. It's a good looking car. Whenever he rolls it up to a meet, I'm like, yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick step back around the rear because we forgot the exhaust. And we actually got this exhaust kind of by accident. I found this just while Googling E30 exhaust systems. Who would have thought that Magnaflow actually made an E30 exhaust system?
I did not know they made kits for these.
I completely stumbled
really cool.
across it, which was cool because they're in Oceanside. I literally went and picked this up like the next day, I think. And we did have to do a little bit of fabrication. The mid-pipe was...
so the mid-pipe that came with the car was like
modified.
So the exhaust on it already was like cut and welded like 6 different times. So we, I don't know if you remember that, and it had like the chicken wire hanger. So we had to like cut it up and make the flanging work.
You're bringing back all the bad memories. But yeah, we made it work and it looks great.
I didn't forget. It's a very subtle exhaust, but it's really nice.
I try not to remember stuff like that.
That's all the fun stuff, man. That's the juicy stuff.
Yeah, it's juicy, but I'm old and I don't have much space left up here, so. We did get new fog lights for it.
We did fix the fogs, and then we did clean these up and actually get him a new set of kidney grills. So
such an iconic car. So Victor's got style. He's also a Subaru guy at heart, which a lot of you guys don't know that about Victor. And he's also the front lip destroyer.
Oh no! No!
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
yeah, it is.
So he wears a lot of hats around here. So if you ever have a new car with a new front lip on it, don't bring it here. Don't give Victor the keys. Somehow this one has survived. I don't really know how it is.
Because it's not a lip on top of this. I think if you put a carbon fiber lip down here,
it's gone. She gone.
E30s just look so happy as it is. You know, I don't think it needs much more than that.
I agree. It's kind of like our R32s.
Yeah.
The factory lip is pretty good, and that's why a lot of people don't change them. So the really cool thing about this car is, as with all our builds, we put the Falcon Tire RT660 on here. I think that just allows you to really have fun in the car. I know Victor, when he does drive this, he drives it pretty spirited, so these tires are actually quite perfect for it.
I think they're more than perfect. They're big enough for this car at the power level that it's making that you can really just have fun with the car and not really worry.
Like a cappuccino, just
yeah,
to the floor.
just wide open all the time and just go through everything,
Man.
making all the corners and not even worrying about it.
Yeah, it's epic. I think this is a really cool car. Victor's very fortunate to have this as a car that he can pretty much drive every day and enjoy. And
I'm glad we got to play with it.
One day maybe you'll have one.
Yeah, hopefully.
That's all for Victor's E30. Let's move on to the next one.
What's going on, guys? My name is Phil. I work here at Throtl in the customer service department. This is my 2008 Evo MR.
All right, so next up is Phil's Evo 10. Now, Phil actually lives way up in LA, which is quite a drive. He works from home a lot, so we barely
get to
him.
see this one.
Yeah, so he comes in once a week, if that.
He
Sometimes
just showed up with this thing out of nowhere.
Yeah, so this
Didn't even know he was buying it.
This is a very recent purchase for Phil, and despite it being recent, every time he brings it back, he's got
It's
new
different.
parts on it. He's got completely different parts on it. So
Well,
when
he
got
works
it,
in customer service for us, so
yeah, fair enough.
he knows what we sell, and looks like he's taking advantage of that.
So just about every time Phil pulls up in his Evo, we're all like,
What did he do now?
so.
First thing I noticed, this is brand new.
Yeah, so that's a Saban hood. He relocated the license plate as well, so he kind of tidied up the whole front end.
What I like about this hood is that they made that little center vent a little smaller, and they actually accentuated these vents, which you can see our hood back there. It exists, but they actually raised them and made it a lot bigger. It looks really cool. And did I say he ordered this from throtl.com? Because he did. What I like is how he has a carbon trunk, and we'll show you guys that in a minute, carbon hood, and they went so far as to actually carbon fiber wrap the center section of the roof as well. So it kind of keeps the flow going with the black in the grille, the black hood, and then down the center, down the back. Kind of cool.
This is fun because our next sweepstakes car is an Evo 10, so we're gonna kind of get some ideas. Even though we have most of the build planned out, it's still fun to see what it could be, so.
Yeah, we're not experts on Evo 10s, so it's neat to see what other people do to them as well.
So he has a satin pearl white wrap on the entire car, which looks really nice. He is gonna be changing the wrap color. He's sending it in next week to get changed.
So next time we see this car, it's gonna look totally different again.
Yep.
Sweet. Good job, Phil. I like the changes. The one thing I noticed was that I don't think he had these TE37s on here last time I saw this car. So it looks like he found the right fitment, because I don't feel a spacer back there.
The color is pretty cool.
And they fit phenomenally. Like a little tire stretch to make them tuck up in there.
So the wheels have a little bit of a metallic flake in the paint as well. It's not just like a deep
It's not just
gray.
black or gray, yeah.
Pretty nice. And then he's more practical than us. He's got a set of Falcon Pro G4.
No 660s on this one.
He's better than the rest of us.
So he must plan to maybe take this up.
Well, if it's a daily, you know.
Yeah.
I put RT660s on my daily like a gorilla.
Yeah, me
and
too.
then when it rained over December, I was like scared, but.
Don't be scared. He didn't modify much inside, so we're not gonna spend a whole lot of time there.
But for a 2008, the interior is in really good shape.
Really nice, wow.
So.
The factory spoiler, which I think always looks good on these.
I think with the carbon trunk, you notice the inside of the spoiler. It's black.
I think it's
it's
pretty
a very
noticeable
subtle
on ours,
thing,
too.
but when you have the black trunk, it kind of pops a little bit more. I didn't notice the inside of ours was black
Really?
until I saw his.
Oh, that like jumps out at me for some reason.
Yeah.
So that's what makes us different, Quinn.
Fair enough.
So as I mentioned earlier, here's the carbon fiber trunk. Looks pretty cool.
It is Saban.
I'm no Evo 10 expert, as I mentioned, but I think the MR came with aluminum roof and aluminum trunk.
Did it?
I think.
Yeah.
If you guys are Evo 10 knowledgeable, let us know in the comment section. But I'm pretty sure the MR model was basically like race prep style car, like something that they would use for homologation. It came with an aluminum roof and aluminum trunk. Could be wrong, but I remember that from back in the day. At Pikes Peak, someone told me that MR was a specific chassis for basically set up to make it easier to build a race car.
Interesting.
Which
I didn't know that. Yeah. Ever since you pointed out this roofline though,
now we notice it.
I
right?
notice it every time.
And I never really noticed it before, ever. It's very cool.
Definitely neat. I
like the sound the roof makes. I'm I'm a DJ. So, stock exhaust?
No, so he has a catback, but he doesn't know what brand it is.
Oh, really?
It's just
Unknown.
Just a catback.
So we're gonna have to throw this thing up on a lift one day for Phil and check it out, I think.
Yeah,
'cause
I
I'd like
believe
to
it
know.
came with the car.
It sounds good. I like about all of Phil's cars actually, because he has a WRX as well, is he has like a pretty clean style. He doesn't mind spending money on high-end parts, which
I actually
It's
haven't
refreshing.
seen Phil Subi, so I'm not sure.
pretty solid.
Is it? Okay.
I mean, he is WRX Phil, after all.
Fair enough, but he's been driving this, so I don't know.
So
Betrayed.
does that make him Evo Phil?
Evo Phil?
And honestly, that's about it for Phil's Evo. He doesn't have a ton of mods, but he's got, I think, the right mods. But
He's heading in the right direction.
he's in the right direction. I think it still needs something up front and maybe on the side. So maybe some side skirts or splitters for the side. And I think it might need a lip. He does have some carbon inserts on the vents, which are pretty cool.
Delete the fog lights. Is
Oh, it is a fog light delete, huh?
Yeah, it is.
So I wonder how this would look with a different front bumper, or even just like a nice carbon fiber lip. Might have to head over to the website and see what's available.
I think it looked good. I think he's headed in the right direction with it for sure. I want to see. I know the color that he's choosing. It's going to be wild.
Okay.
So I want to see what it looks like when it comes back from that. But I do think it still needs a little bit more, a little more spice on the front end.
So that's the big picture on Phil's car. It's nice to see this one at the shop once in a while, and I'm curious to see where he takes it from here on out, because it sounds like there's gonna be some changes in the near future.
Yeah, in the immediate future. I think it's a great daily. After driving our Evo 10, they're so much fun to drive.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to try the paddles too. See how it differs
interested
from
to
the manual
yeah.
gearbox.
I wonder if it's a 6-speed.
I don't know, maybe
I wonder
it's
if
10.
it has a 6 gear. Yeah.
Who knows? Well, I think that's gonna do it for this one. Again, a few pretty cool cars, and we've got a lot more where those came from. So if you guys like this video content, definitely let us know down below in the comment section, because we can be doing these weekly or monthly or whatever until we run out of cars, which
I don't
it
think
just
it's
gives
gonna
me an
happen
excuse to go
anytime.
buy more. So
Yeah, fair enough. I'm right there with you.
seeing Phil's car here at the end really gets me excited to work on our Evo 10.
Amen. Yeah,
And,
I'm gonna go do that right after this.
It is a sweepstakes car too, so if you guys haven't already, head on over to throtl.com. Any dollars you spend in the web store are entries to win our Evo 10 that we're building currently. Quinn's actually gonna be wrenching on it here in 5 minutes, so it's gonna be pretty epic when it's done, and I think you'll want to win it. So head on over to throtl.com, get some merchandise, some car parts, and get entered. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.